Faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. Over the past year, we've been living with the pandemic. It has challenged our faith, our sense of national unity, our economy and educational system, and it has challenged our children's sense of security. In March, I penned the first book published on the relationship between theology, spirituality, and the pandemic, Faith in a Time of Pandemic. 3 months later, I penned Hope Beyond Pandemic to look at ways we could be hopeful in a time of pandemic, as well as to take a hard look from a theological and ethical point of view at political and social issues that have been brought to the surface during this time of pandemic. I asserted that the pandemic challenges us to prophetic politics and healing. Throughout the pandemic, I've been concerned about its impact on children. I'm the grandparent of 2 elementary school boys and pastor to children and their families. I know the anxieties that children face. They too need hope and faith, and to know that our love and God's love will get them through. This book emerged from my conversations with my 2 grandchildren and the children of our church. Our children and grandchildren and younger friends, nieces and nephews need to know that the pandemic is not lost time, but an opportunity to grow spiritually, love more, and find ways to reach out to one another. They need to know that nothing can separate them from God's love, not even the pandemic. Distant learning at home, quarantines, and the daily inconveniences of mask wearing and safe distancing. Love in a time of crisis and pandemic is intended to help our children, most especially elementary school children, respond faithfully and lovingly to this challenging time. It's a book intended to be shared with the adults in their lives, who can learn in conversation with their children and grandchildren about the virtues that will get us through the current crisis and beyond. There is love in a time of crisis and pandemic. God's love and our love for each other. With love, we can faithfully and hopefully live through this pandemic and can have in this time of pandemic a deeper relationship with God, when with one another we can have the time of our lives.